Hi, it's me, Rox, owner of Sugarwell in Leeds, Yorkshire. If you haven't stopped by before, welcome to my channel, where I make soap and dabble in making various cosmetics and smelly things. Today, I thought I'd make some solid shampoo, but it's not so much about the actual recipe today, though I will give you it in the video, but about solid shampoo formula in general. Like so many cosmetics, there's a huge variety of options of what you can put in a solid Syndex shampoo bar and different methods of making it that will produce successful results. I think this is important to say because someone commented on my shower steamy formula saying I wasn't making them right, and I might add, tried putting me right, giving me a different recipe measured in cups. I don't do cups, sorry. As a producer, I'm legally obliged to formula and sell in grams to ensure the highest degree of accuracy and a consistent product. Anyway, I can only think it was someone who doesn't understand that different ingredients and methods can produce equally successful results. I find comments like that are unhelpful and not conducive to improving or innovating products through trial, error and experimentation, and I'm having none of it. I say, if you find a formula that's safe, works for you and you're happy with it, then that's all that really matters at the end of the day, not the path that got you there. With all that in mind, what I'm making today is a very basic, no frills, solid shampoo bar with no fancy additives in it. It's just to get to grips with the general formula for solid shampoo, which is fairly straightforward. Basically, you want surfactants for the cleaning part, something to bind the ingredients and make the bar hard, and some oils to replace the dirty oils that have been washed from your scalp and hair by the surfactants. That's all a solid shampoo bar needs to do to work at a very basic level, and which surfactants bind as hard as oils you use is up to you, though some will be better suited than others, of course, but that's a whole other story about cationic, anionic, non-ionic and amphoteric ingredients, and we're not going there today because it's too involved. Research is key. Once you have the basics down to pat, maybe starting with getting the right balance of oils for your hair type, then you can play with your formula and add more expensive additives like panthenol, keratin, rice protein or whatever you'd like to try, or even different percentages of surfactants to get the perfect lather density for your taste. I hate shampoo that gives my hair that cringy squeakiness, you know what I mean? But I've heard some people like that, so it's all about experimenting, starting from a basic and fairly cheap formula to build on, making changes here and there until you get just what you're after. Now, what's happening on screen probably won't be matching my words because I've recorded this after the video and I've got more to say than I thought I would, and most of it's not about what I'm actually doing. But I hope you can still keep track of what I'm doing as well as what I'm saying, and you can always rewind if you didn't quite catch something. Got to keep you on your toes. I'm only making 100 grams in total, which is enough to make 2 bars in the mould I'm using. My basic formula is in percentages, so the grams are the same as the percentage figures for 100 grams, which makes it easy. I'm going to have to recite it, so if you want to have a go with this formula, you might want to get a pen and paper to write it down. It's quite a long list. Here goes. 65% SCI, 5% cocamidopropyl betaine, 5% SLSA, 2% glycerin, 5% BTMS 50, 3% cetyl alcohol, 2% stearic acid, 1% vitamin E, 3% essential oils, 1% preservative, and 8% oils. I'm using 8% fats here, and my blend is 25% each for cocoa and shea butters, and 50% for grapeseed oil. To calculate how many grams of each fat I need to make up that 8%, I divide 8 by 100 and then multiply by the percentage amount I want. So 8 divided by 100 equals 0.08. 0.08 multiplied by 25 is 2, so I need 2 grams each of cocoa butter and shea butter. Then it's easy to figure out that I need 4 grams of grapeseed oil because that's all that's left. I used to teach maths at GCSE level to adults, and percentages were the bane of my life. Percentages, fractions and ratios, very troublesome. I found pizza was a very useful teaching aid. So I started off by weighing out my oil-based ingredients. These are the SCI noodles, sodium cocoyl isothianate, and using the powder instead is fine, cetyl alcohol, BTMS 50 and stearic acid, along with cocoa butter, shea butter and grapeseed oil. The SCI is the primary surfactant here, and we have 2 more in smaller percentages coming up. The BTMS 50, which is a conditioning cationic emulsifier, cetyl alcohol and stearic acid will act as conditioning agents as well as hardeners for the shampoo bar on account of being solid at room temperature. The butters and oils are to replenish oils stripped from your hair by the surfactants. In another jug, and there's such a small amount it looks lost in the big jug, I'm combining glycerin with more surfactants in small amounts, cocamidopropyl betaine and SLSA. The glycerin is in there to help with keeping hair hydrated through its humectant properties. Okay, so the oily ingredients need to go into a double boiler to melt down. The SCI noodles won't melt down completely in the time I've allowed here, so I go in with a blender when the other fatty ingredients have melted to break the noodles down and end up with more of a waxy, fatty and smoother paste, though it won't be totally smooth. Then I add this concoction to the glycerine and surfactant mixture and give it a really good mix. The oils do start to solidify as the temperature reduces and the mixture gets pretty stiff and turns into more of a heavy paste. I also add a touch of orange mica to match the essential oils I'm using. When the paste has cooled down enough, it's time to add my preservative, vitamin E and some fragrance, in this case red mandarin and patchouli essential oils. This loosens the paste a bit, but it's still fairly stiff. I'm using the preservative as a precaution because the shampoo bar is going to get wet repeatedly and we don't want it brewing germs and mould. The vitamin E is good for your hair, but it also slows down the oxidisation of oils and fats that can make them go rancid, so it basically extends the shelf life. I've seen some makers kneading this paste like dough, and that's fine if you want to do it that way. Like I say, methods of achieving successful results are flexible, so whatever works best for you. If I was going to knead it though, I'd probably dust my hands and work surface with a bit of kaolin clay powder to stop it from sticking. Once I'm happy I've got all that thoroughly combined and fairly smooth, I fill up the moulds, just getting in there with my hands to make sure the mixture gets right into the corners and then smoothing it out as best I can. Then I just pop that into the freezer for a while to make them easier to unmould. After unmoulding and once these have thawed out, they'll still be a bit soft and will need to be left somewhere to go hard. Some makers include sodium lactate in their formula to help with hardness, but I've made this before and they do get hard on their own, just not straight away. Because there's some wet ingredients in there, the cocoa bean and glycerin, albeit in small amounts, they need a bit of time for that to evaporate off, preferably somewhere where there's low humidity. This might take a few days. So that's it, the basics of a no-frills Cindet solid shampoo bar. If you haven't made solid shampoo before, I hope you've got something from this video that you can work with. Right, I'm off to tinker with a chronometer on my time machine. See you earlier.